Hello and welcome to Gatecrashers and Gate 16. In human design, Gate 16 is the gate of skills and enthusiasm and mastery. In this Gatecrashers episode, we explore this energy through the character Macca. This series brings the human design gates to life through story and pattern and lived expression. And with Gate 16, we explore how talent is developed through repetition and experimentation. We explore the voice that identifies, approves, and finds the flaw, and the difference between performing enthusiasm and living it. If you're studying human design or exploring your own chart, this may well help you recognize this energy in your life. Macca has hands like a docker. Big hands, wide across the knuckle, thick through the palm. The kind of hands that have carried things, fixed things, held things firm against the wind. You'd look at those hands and think, oh, scaffolding. Or you'd think engine parts. You'd think of 100 things before you thought of this being a shuttle. It's smaller than a matchbox, made of bone, actual bone. He'll tell you if you ask, which you probably won't because you'll be too busy staring at the fact that he's using it at all. The thread he's working with is barely visible in ordinary light. You have to catch it at an angle, hold still, let your eyes adjust. And then there it is, this line of ivory lace emerging from those impossible hands, ring by ring, picot by picot, growing outward the way frost grows on glass, slowly, inexorably, by the accumulated logic of 10,000 repeated gestures. Tatting, it's called, Victorian lace making. There are perhaps 400 people in Britain who still do it seriously. Macca is not one of the 400. He is, according to himself, slightly above the 400, which is a different thing entirely. He came to it sideways, the way people come to things that end up defining them. A box of his nan's things after she went. A shuttle and a card with instructions in her handwriting. Not a note to him, notes to herself, her own shorthand for a craft she'd practiced since she was a girl in Liverpool. He tried it once to see. Then he tried it again, and then again, and that was 11 years ago. He never consciously decided to master it, he just kept going back. That's the thing about Gate 16. It's the gate of skills, of talent made real through repetition, through the accumulation of small experiments, the endless cycle of trying and correcting and trying again. It lives in the throat center, which means it has a voice, it speaks. This is a gate that says, I identify or I experiment, sometimes both at once. I identify with what I experiment with. It's a voice that can approve or disapprove of itself, mostly. It's in that circuitry that's very self-critical. The understanding circuit is collective and logical. It runs on pattern and on focus, on the belief borne out by long experience that the perfect expression of something is always available, always one iteration closer, always worth those extra hours. Gate 9, the gate of focus, sits at its base like a ballast weight, taming the energy, narrowing it, making depth possible. And depth is what it takes. Macca works in the evenings at the kitchen table, under a lamp he bought specifically for this task, angled to catch the thread. He makes a ring, he joins it, he makes another, he works in near silence. The White Album, turned low on the stereo, proper vinyl like, something so familiar He doesn't have to pay attention to it. He doesn't track the time because tracking the time is what you do when you'd rather be somewhere else. And Macca is not, at this particular moment, interested in being anywhere else. When it goes well, there's a quality to it that he can't quite name, a rightness. The thread behaves, the shuttle moves, the pattern resolves itself through his hands the way a song resolves. Not because he forces it, but because he's cleared everything out of the way. He becomes, in those moments, less a man making lace than a means by which the lace makes itself. The dancer becoming the dance, the gate's oldest promise. And then he finishes his piece. He holds it up, he turns it in the light, and his eye finds the flaw in perhaps 4 seconds. It always does. One ring 3 inches from the left that sat a fraction too tight when he knotted it on Thursday. He knew at the time, he thought he'd got away with it, but he hadn't. There it is. He could show you exactly where. He will show you exactly where if you let him. Though you'll have to take his word for it because you won't see it yourself. You'll be looking at something quietly extraordinary, something that took 40 hours and 11 years to be able to make, and you'll only see that. Macca sees only the stitch that's slightly out of phase. Look, he says, there, that's the one that's wrong. And he's not talking to you, he's talking to the lace. He sets it down. He picks up the shuttle and he begins again. There is another kind of gate 16 energy, and it makes itself known very differently. You've probably met her. Perhaps you are her. She's the one at the dinner party who has recently discovered, passionately, urgently, breathlessly discovered, cold process soap making, or throwing pots, or the ukulele. She'll tell you about it with the full force of conversion experience, the workshops she's rehearsing or researching, the YouTube channels she's watching, the special tools she's just ordered. She identifies with it already deeply and completely, even though she's been doing it for just 3 weeks. She'll show you the one thing she's made. It's not very good, and she knows it, but she doesn't care because the gap between where she is and where she's going is what's so thrilling to her. She's already planning the next piece, the harder one, the one that will really show what she can do. But she probably won't be doing it in 6 months' time. But right now she's incandescent with it, and that incandescence is real, genuinely gate 16, even if the depth hasn't quite flown up the channel yet, even if it never does. The gift and the shadow of this gate are very similar, seen from different distances. Enthusiasm is the engine, repetition is the road. Without the first, you never start, and without the second, you're never going to arrive. It is said that it takes 7 years to learn any technique deeply enough to begin to master it. 7 years before the art is liberated from the technique required to hone it. 7 years before the dancer can stop thinking about their feet. Macca is in year 11. He'll tell you he's getting there. He's made over those 11 years somewhere between 60 and 80 pieces of lace. He doesn't keep an exact count. Most of them he's given away to his sister, to a friend who asked, once to a woman at a craft fair who stopped and looked at something on his table for so long he thought she might have been having a medical episode. He keeps the ones he's least unhappy with in a box, in a drawer. None of them are finished, in his view. All of them have a stitch that's out. One Wednesday in October, he finishes a new one, a small circular piece, an antimacassar, technically, though Macca prefers not to call it that. He holds it up. He turns it. His eye moves across it and he can't find it. He turns it again. He looks from another angle. He holds it further away. He brings it closer. Nothing. Not this time. He sits with that for a while, not knowing quite what to do with himself. And then he puts it in the box and he picks up the shuttle and he begins again. That's gate 16. The voice that identifies, the hand that experiments, the quiet, relentless accumulation of hours that looks from the outside like talent and from the inside like never quite being done. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Gatecrashers and for Macca, our Liverpudlian tatter. As always, I hope you continue to love yourselves wildly and will join me for my next episode. And until then, go gently.